The future sparks both hope and fear. We dream of progress, but at what cost? Bioconservatism asks, how far should we go in manipulating life? Is this a future we want or need to prevent? Bioconservatism calls for caution in genetic engineering. It's about recognizing the responsibility that comes with powerful tools, ensuring technology serves humanity, not the other way around. It's a rallying cry to reclaim our role as stewards of our destiny.
Some advocate for a moderate approach, like Michael Sandel, who supports genetic modification for therapy but not enhancement. However, many bioconservatives see this as naive, arguing that regulation is futile.
Standard bioconservatives believe the risks of genetic enhancement are too great. They advocate for a complete ban on human genetic modification and related technologies. They envision dismantling research labs and destroying equipment. This extreme stance is seen as necessary for species survival.
Hard bioconservatives like Ted Kaczynski advocate for a controlled demolition of the technological system. They believe only a collapse can free us from technological dependence.
All bioconservatives share a goal preserving humanity in its unmodified form. They see technological progress as a runaway train towards extinction. United by urgency, they believe the time for complacency is over. They are the guardians of our genetic heritage.
Technological progress is like a runaway train with no brakes. Innovation driven by profit blinds us to potential consequences. We're playing with powerful tools without understanding the risks. It's about ensuring technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
Efficiency concentrates power like a river carving through the landscape. This drive towards efficiency could create a genetically enhanced elite. The potential for abuse grows as power becomes concentrated. In a world with godlike technology, the consequences could be catastrophic.
Bioconservatives believe the stakes have never been higher. This isn't just about values, it's about humanity's survival. The choices we make today will determine our future. They refuse to stand idly by as humanity faces potential demise.
Bioconservatives view transhumanists as naive idealists. Transhumanists envision a utopian future, but bioconservatives see danger. Technology is a double-edged sword, capable of great good and harm. The potential for harm far outweighs the potential for good.
The political landscape is in constant flux. Libertarianism and social conservatism struggle in a tech-dominated world. Multinational corporations mock the ideal of a free market. Technology erodes the foundations of traditional worldviews.
Disillusioned right-wingers seek a cause to rally behind. Bioconservatism offers a narrative of human survival against existential threats. It challenges corporate power and reframes the fight against big technology. It argues for preserving our genetic heritage and human experience.
Even the US military, that seemingly invincible bastion of American might, is not immune to the allure of bioconservatism. The justification for maintaining a global military presence, for policing the world with drones and aircraft carriers, has become increasingly tenuous in the 21st century. The old narratives of fighting communism or spreading democracy ring hollow in an era of globalized capitalism and widespread disillusionment with Western hegemony. The current attempts to justify military intervention in the name of promoting LGBTQ+ rights while perhaps well-intentioned, come across as both flimsy and culturally tone-deaf. They alienate potential allies in many parts of the world, particularly those with strong religious or cultural traditions that view such ideologies with suspicion or outright hostility. Bioconservatism, with its focus on a universal threat, the potential extinction of humanity, offers a far more compelling and palatable justification for maintaining a global military presence. It reframes the role of the US military as the defender of humanity itself, the guardians of our genetic heritage against the existential threats posed by runaway technological progress.
Section 4. The human guinea pigs. But perhaps the most compelling argument for bioconservatism, the one that resonates most deeply with ordinary people, is the fear of becoming unwitting guinea pigs in a grand experiment they neither consented to nor understand. As automation and artificial intelligence continue to reshape the job market, rendering entire professions obsolete, the value of human labor, at least in the traditional sense, diminishes. This creates a dangerous incentive for those in power, those who control the levers of technology, to find new uses for a surplus population. And what better use for millions of idle hands than as test subjects for the latest genetic enhancements? After all, every new technology requires extensive testing, and what better way to perfect these tools than on a grand scale, using real people as living, breathing experiments? This fear, while perhaps unspoken, lurks beneath the surface of our collective consciousness. It is the fear of becoming obsolete, of being discarded by a system that no longer values our humanity. And it is a fear that bioconservatism speaks to directly, offering a message of resistance, of reclaiming our right to bodily autonomy, to resist becoming mere cogs in the machine of technological progress.
While the idea of the US military embracing bioconservatism might seem far-fetched at first glance, the seeds of such a shift are already being sown within the ranks, particularly among those who have witnessed firsthand the unintended consequences of technological advancement, the horrors of drone warfare, the dehumanizing aspects of cyber warfare. There's a growing unease, a sense that we're losing our way, that our pursuit of technological superiority is coming at a steep moral cost. This unease is mirrored in the broader population, where anxieties about the pace of technological change, the loss of privacy, the rise of artificial intelligence, and the potential for genetic engineering to create a dystopian future are becoming increasingly mainstream. These anxieties, fueled by science fiction and amplified by social media, create fertile ground for bioconservative ideas to take root. The narrative of a world teetering on the brink of self-destruction, of a technological elite pursuing its own transhumanist agenda at the expense of the rest of humanity, resonates with a deep-seated fear of the unknown, of forces beyond our control. It's a fear that transcends political divides, a fear that can unite people from all walks of life in a common cause, the preservation of our shared humanity.
One of the most potent arguments in bioconservatism's arsenal is the idea that technological progress, particularly in the realm of genetic engineering, comes at a price that will be paid not by the elites who drive this progress, but by the most vulnerable among us. As the cost of genetic sequencing and manipulation continues to plummet, the temptation to use these technologies not just for therapeutic purposes, but for enhancement, for creating a generation of genetically superior individuals, will become increasingly difficult to resist. This, bioconservatives argue, is a recipe for disaster, one that will inevitably lead to a widening of the already gaping chasm between the haves and the have-nots. Imagine a world where the wealthy can afford to enhance their children's intelligence, athleticism, and even their lifespans, while the rest of humanity is left behind, their genetic makeup deemed inferior, their very existence a reminder of a bygone era. This fear of being left behind, of becoming obsolete in the face of relentless technological progress, is not unfounded. It's a fear that resonates deeply with the millions of people already feeling the effects of automation, of globalization, of a world where their skills and labor are no longer valued. Bioconservatism offers these individuals a sense of solidarity, a way to fight back against the forces they perceive as threatening their very existence.
In the face of such a threat, bioconservatism argues that resistance is not just a moral imperative, it's an inevitability. As the consequences of unchecked technological progress become increasingly apparent, as the gap between the genetically enhanced elite and the rest of humanity widens, as the very definition of what it means to be human is called into question, people will naturally gravitate towards ideologies that offer a sense of security, of belonging, of resistance. This resistance, bioconservatives believe, will not be confined to the fringes of society, to conspiracy theorists and Luddites. It will emerge from the heart of the working class, from those who have been displaced by automation, from those who fear for the future of their children, from those who simply yearn for a world where human values trump technological progress. This groundswell of resistance, fueled by a potent mix of fear, anger, and a yearning for a simpler time, will be difficult to ignore. It will manifest itself in protests, in civil disobedience, in a rejection of the technologies and ideologies that threaten to strip us of our humanity. And it will, bioconservatives believe, ultimately force a reckoning, a reassessment of our relationship with technology, a reassertion of the values that truly make us human.
Alright, let's get one thing straight, comrades. We bioconservatives, we deal in cold, hard truths. We don't have time for the wishy-washy, feel-good nonsense that passes for intellectualism these days. We see the world for what it is, a brutal, unforgiving arena where sentimentality gets you killed and only the strong survive. So let's dispense with the new age gibberish about reality being subjective, about thought shaping the universe, about manifesting our desires into existence. That's all well and good if you're living in a yoga studio or a commune, but out here in the real world, a tiger doesn't care about your chakras and a virus doesn't negotiate with your affirmations. We believe in objective reality, in the laws of physics, in the unyielding march of cause and effect. We believe that a rock is a rock, regardless of what label you put on it, and that fire burns, regardless of whether you believe in it or not. This isn't pessimism, comrades, it's pragmatism. It's about facing the world with clear eyes, about understanding the rules of the game so we can play to win. Because survival, like it or not, is a zero-sum game, and we, the bioconservatives, intend to be the last ones standing.
Now let's talk about means and ends, because this is where things get interesting. You see, the transhumanists, those wide-eyed optimists, those self-proclaimed architects of the future, they love to talk about ends. They'll spin you tales of a utopian future, a world without suffering, a world where technology has solved all our problems and humanity has ascended to a higher plane of existence. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? But here's the catch, comrades. They never want to talk about the means. They gloss over the messy details, the uncomfortable truths, the very real possibility that the path to their utopian vision is paved with the shattered remnants of everything we hold dear. We bioconservatives, we understand that there's no such thing as a free lunch. We know that every action has a reaction, that every choice has a consequence, and that the road to hell is often paved with good intentions. So we choose our means carefully, comrades. We focus on what works, on what has stood the test of time, on what has allowed our species to survive and thrive for millennia. We're not afraid of hard work, of sacrifice, of making tough choices. Because we understand that survival is not a guarantee, it's an achievement.
Now let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? The transhumanists, for all their talk of progress and unity, are a disorganized bunch. They're like a flock of birds, all flitting about, each pursuing its own shiny object with no clear direction or purpose. And that, comrades, is their fatal flaw. Because when it comes to a fight, and make no mistake, this is a fight for the future of our species, a cohesive unit will always triumph over a disorganized mob. Think of the Spartans at Thermopylae, a small band of warriors holding off an entire Persian army. What was their secret? Discipline, unity, a shared sense of purpose. We bioconservatives, we understand the power of collective action. We know that we're stronger together, that our individual efforts, no matter how valiant, will amount to nothing if they're not coordinated, if they're not directed towards a common goal. This isn't about blind obedience, comrades. It's about recognizing that in any complex endeavor, be it building a bridge or waging a war, a certain degree of hierarchy, of specialization, of following orders, is essential for success. We need strategists, we need tacticians, we need foot soldiers, all working in concert, all pulling in the same direction.
Now some of you might be wondering, what about morality? Where do ethics fit into this whole bioconservative worldview? Well, let me tell you, comrades, our morality is not based on some abstract set of rules handed down from on high, nor is it based on what feels good or what's politically expedient. Our morality is grounded in one simple, undeniable truth: survival is paramount. In the bioconservative code of ethics, there's no room for sentimentality, for wishful thinking, for clinging to outdated notions of right and wrong. We judge actions not by their intent, but by their consequences. If a particular course of action, no matter how well-intentioned, weakens our species, if it makes us more vulnerable to extinction, then it is, by definition, morally wrong. This might seem harsh, even brutal to some. But we live in a harsh, brutal world, comrades. A world where the strong prey on the weak, where the future belongs to those who are willing to do what it takes to survive. We bioconservatives, we're not afraid to face this reality. We embrace it. Because we understand that sentimentality is a luxury we can ill afford. Our survival, the survival of our species, depends on our willingness to make tough choices, to do what is necessary, even if it means challenging the very foundations of our morality.
We've reached the end, comrades. We've dissected the lies, exposed the delusions, and laid bare the stakes of this game we call survival. The time for polite debate, for ivory tower theorizing, for endless hand-wringing is over. The enemy is at the gates, its genetic engineers and artificial intelligence architects working tirelessly to reshape the world in their image. We, the bioconservatives, we stand as the last bastion of true humanity, the guardians of our genetic heritage, the defenders of what it means to be human. We don't have the luxury of complacency, of burying our heads in the sand and hoping for the best. The future is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create through our actions, through our choices, through our willingness to fight for what we believe in. This isn't a call for violence, comrades, at least not yet, but it is a call for action, for a radical shift in consciousness, for a rejection of the seductive lies of progress, and a reassertion of our primal right to exist, to thrive, to pass on our genes to future generations, uncorrupted by the meddling hands of those who would play God with our very essence. The path forward is clear, comrades. We must build a movement, a global network of like-minded individuals who understand the gravity of the threat we face and are willing to stand together in defiance. We need scientists who are not afraid to speak truth to power, who understand that the pursuit of knowledge should not come at the expense of our humanity. We need artists who can articulate the stakes of this struggle, who can inspire with their words, their music, their art. We need soldiers, both literal and metaphorical, who are willing to stand on the front lines to defend our right to exist, to say no to the siren song of transhumanism. This is not a fight for the faint of heart, comrades. It will require courage, it will require sacrifice, it will require a level of commitment that most people can't even fathom. But the alternative, the slow creeping extinction of our species, the transformation of humanity into something unrecognizable, something alien, is simply unacceptable. So I ask you, comrades, what will you choose? Will you stand with us shoulder to shoulder and fight for our future? Or will you stand aside and watch as everything we hold dear is consumed by the flames of unchecked technological progress? The choice is yours. But choose wisely, comrades. Time is running out.